What is up, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? Welcome to Kaiserreich. This is like my second playthrough of Kaiserreich, and we will be playing the United States. I'm not going to put on Iron Man or historical AI focuses. I don't know if this does anything in this version. But yeah. I already played as the Union State in my own time. I may upload the Union State at some point. But right now we're going to go with, I'm going to wait to show you once this loads in. The man himself, General MacArthur. Put all of them in an army. Let's start getting our tech. Let's start building some infantry and not support, artillery. Let's start putting in some convoys because I'm gonna need them. Let's build some light cruisers and some heavy cruisers. I don't know if I keep my navy. What are you? Atlantic destroyer fleet. So we're gonna stick all you in the Atlantic destroyer fleet. And we're gonna go. And this time, you know what? I'm gonna read things like this. America in 1936. The United States in 1936 stands in crisis. The United States was able to escape the First Weltkrieg, which allowed its prosperity to continue well into the 1920s. However, the victory of the German Empire and the French and later the British revolutions would lead to the Wall Street crash of 1925. This sent the United States into the Great Depression and allowed the Berlin stock market to take its place in the world. The election of Herbert Hoover in 1928 showed promise of fixing America. However, Hoover was unable to fix the problems of the Depression. This had fueled the rise of radical parties in America, from the Combined Syndicates of America on the far left to the American First Party on the far right. The fact that Hoover won re-election by the House of Representatives in 1932 and the fact that the Great Depression isn't over means that the problems do not look to be going away soon. Many throughout the country fear that disaster will happen should one of the extreme parties come into power or nothing is done to solve the Depression. God save America. And oh my gosh, we are at -2, almost 300. Sure, why not? I mean, just give it to me. Yeah, let's put MacArthur. Yeah, let's do that. The assassination of President Kerensky. Is it Kerensky? I don't know. I'm going to pronounce it Kerensky. Kerensky has just been shot and killed while on his way to the Senate. The assailant was taken down by the police, but the goals and the intentions of the attacker are unknown. Despite his massive unpopularity among the Russian people due to botched land reforms and ineffective rule, Kerensky was nevertheless able to hold the country together for years, and his death has thrown Russia into chaos. The senators are already discussing a possible replacement for Kerensky. New coalitions are being formed both between left and the right, while military men like Denikin, Wrangel, and Korilnov, there we go, are just one step away from intervening to dissolve the democracy and save Mother Russia. How barbaric. One day we will get past January, but today is not this day. So my plan is to go down the General MacArthur tree and go for the Cincinnatus and get the 36th presidential election. I don't know who I'm going to go for. It's either going to be one of these two, because these two are two not what we're looking for. Okay, here we go. This is what I'm looking for. So the West is Pacific states, New England. Oh, and this is the... Ew, I don't like it when Mexico attacks me. Black Monday. On the 3rd of February 1936, the Berlin Stock Exchange stopped sinking. It plunged. Fueled by the instability of the market panic, selling erupted as soon as the stock market opened on Monday morning. It took well into the night for the teleprinters to stop sputtering out the results of what became known as Black Monday. When the results had been analyzed, it was clear that the situation had only got worse. The shock of this unprecedented economic catastrophe will no doubt be felt over the entire world. The German Golden Age has ended, for now at least. And I'm going to get a massive penalty. The Fifth Anglo and Afghani War. After the Weltkrieg, as the British Raj collapsed into turmoil and warfare, the neighboring kingdoms of Afghanistan took advantage of this as an opportunity to seize power. Peshawar and Quetta, both border regions of the Dominion. However, Afghani government's attempt to modernize over the last decade have been met with fierce resistance and the conservative elements within the country. King Al-Mullah Khan, Amanullah. There we go. King Amanullah Khan now hopes to use the turmoil in Delhi following the death of King George V to his advantage. By repeating the success of the Fourth Anglo-Afghani War, the king hopes to silence the conservative opposition and bring new lands to the crown. However, international experts do not put many hopes on this tiny mountain nation winning this conflict. Who cares about Afghanistan? There it is. Despite the political turmoil going on throughout the country, it looks like the economy of the United States might finally be recovering from the Wall Street crash of 1925. However, today, devastating Berlin crash had finally hit America and sent our economy into a downward spiral yet again. Reed and Long have come out railing against the corrupt bankers who let the crash happen. Curtis and Gardner are both pledged to fix the economy should they win the election, I'm assuming. This is just not our year. The electoral gridlock in France. Like I said, someday we'll get out of February this time, but today is not this day. The Commune of France is the world's leading syndicalist nation, united as a federation of city communes and directed by the Comité de Salut Public, and the chief executive. Ever since its inception, however, the second committee is not uniform in its policy. Numerous factions arose, each one of them their own ideas of which path France should take. As the timer for revenge against Germany and the World Revolution closes in, the CGT election of 1936 is said to be very important. It was so important, in fact, that none of the four factions could acquire a majority. Much like before the election, a coalition must be found. But how will this change the shape of the Commune's politics? Only the men of the CSP know itself. Interesting. Oh, Curtis recovers. Many in America feared their worst when Vice President Charles Curtis, presumptive Republican nominee to succeed President Hoover, suffered a heart attack earlier this morning. The White House now has finally been announced that the Vice President is finally recovering. Curtis would be the first president of Native American ancestry, but his poor health seems to be a dark omen for the end of the Hoover administration. Let's hope he has a good running mate. The world premiere of Modern Times. The premiere of Charlie Chaplin's new movie, Modern Times, is attended in New York by personalities such as Jack Reed, Marcel Prevet, and Philip Snowden, who have come to the USA for the occasion. The comedy film, featuring Chaplin's little tramp character, is seen as an anti-capitalist and anti-formatist manifesto in favor of the combined syndicates of America. After a few days, it is censored by the federal government, judged as too provocative so shortly before the election. So bad, it was funny. In Detroit, Michigan, the automotive capital of the world, Walter Reuther and Richard Frankenstein, that's close, the leaders of the United Auto Workers Association called a general strike against the Ford Motor Company and proclaimed themselves for unionism, not Fordism, demanding higher pay and less hours for automotive workers. At 2 p.m. today, a photographer from the Detroit Free Press asked to take a photo of the leaders of the UAW standing on the overpass with the Ford sign in the background. While they were posing, a group of 40 men from the Ford Service Department approached them from behind and began to beat them on them with batons. The group then continued their attack on some of the beret-wearing women present to pass out leaflets. This will hurt us more than it will hurt us more than it hurt the unionists. And then the downfall of stability. Yeah, I know. Can we agree that this guy, at this distance anyway, looks like Sam from... We don't need this. From Lord of the Rings? Can we just agree? Good. Profits from the legislation cities. I don't think this is mine. Following the 1926 German intervention in China and the Treaty of Nanjing followed in November of that year, foreign trade was left to the richest cities of the coast under a joint control of the world power zoning interests in China. The independence of these consortium of cities were guaranteed by the major local and international powers such as the Qing Empire, that thing, that one, Alamo. Japan, Australia, Canada, United States, and Germany. Foreign investments and legislation cities themselves flourished not only through foreign trade but also thanks to smuggling into, again that word, Augustasian. I'm not even sure if that's a thing. And Qing territories. Maybe it's this one. Yep, there it is. Despite ongoing economic crisis, our investments in legation cities are bringing us grand profit. And this is another downfall in stability. And the 100th anniversary of the Battle of the Alamo, where 200 brave Texans fought and died for freedom in the newly created Republic of Texas. Remember the Alamo! The Treaty of Bucharest in 1918 officially ended the Weltkrieg for Romania, but at a high cost. The nation now dominated by German and Austrian industries, Oltenia was demilitarized and the oil fields were leased to Germany up to the distant year of 2012. Distant. The humiliation Romania endured resulted in it devolving into national populist dictatorship led by the dictator, that thing, I can't read, I'm just not going to say it. That guy and his Iron Guard set out to restore Romania to what they say it should have been, a titan of the Balkans. The first major move conducted by that guy is the remilitarization, I can say that word and not that word, that's cool, of Oltenia, a strategic region of Wallachia with large oil reserves and military industry. It is no more than the Romanians walking in their own backyard. I think this is something we just say there's nothing we can do. 3 years from today, I guess that means back 3 years today, Father Charles Cullen started doing weekly a radio broadcast in America, and more than 50 million people turn on their radios and listen. He's a raving anti-Semitite, claiming that the syndicalist revolution in France was fomented by the Jew, and the Berlin stock market crash is an international conspiracy of Jewish bankers. Is this guy literally Adolf Hitler? and somehow people still tune in. His hate speech will not be tolerated by the church, and the Pope is inspecting to make his decision whether to ask the United States government to shut down his broadcast so his hateful message cannot reach the public. Shut him down! I'm already in the hole anyway. And then we must help the people. On March 16, 1936, warmer than usual temperatures led to the melting of large amounts of snow and ice in the upper Allegheny and I should be able to say this because it's my country. Monongahela rivers. The rivers and their tributaries have always been over their banks and were now threatening the city of Pittsburgh on March 17, 1936. The waters reached the flood stage of 25 feet. Overnight, the heavy rain caused the water to rise even higher, and on March 18th, the water peaked at about 46 feet, 21 feet above the flood stage. Wow. Is that a real thing that happened? Because that's terrifying. Why there's so many events? I know I clicked it, but the First International Congress. Representatives from numerous syndicalist and socialist nations have gathered in Paris today in what might just be the defining moment in the history of the ideologies. The French Commune has invited numerous countries to the first official gathering of the members of the Third Internationale to discuss political, foreign matters, and cooperate on spreading socialism further. The French opened the International with a powerful parade, festivals in Paris, and finally a speech by the chairman of the CSP. Topics like Spain, the United States, and the world economic crisis are at the top priority, and it's expected that France and Britain will take initiative in the gathering. That was a lot of reading. I'm thinking... Ooh, yay, my mechanical engineering showed up. Ooh. I guess that's a good thing for me if I'm going against Britain. Nicolas E. Galais? I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce Y. Elected as chairman of the TUC. The 1936 Trade Union Congress in the Union of Britain was made out to be decisive. Long-term chairman of the TUC, Philip Snowden, declared his resignation, causing the four major factions of the Union, Maximalist, Autonomist, Federationist, and Congregationalists, to butt heads over the position. As the dust settles, Welsh poet and leader of the Autonomists, I'm not going to say his name again in fear of saying it wrong, has been sworn in as the new chairman. The Autonomists fully support further decentralization of the Union of Britain and even greater autonomy to Welsh and Scottish nations, perhaps even full independence. Interesting. Yeah, this guy frees Wales and frees Scotland, which I guess is a good thing. I always go for the totalist faction, just because it means I can take over things easier. The death of Pius XI. Who took his place? I don't know. We'll see. Oh, it's just the College of Cardinals. All the Italian Federation mourns the death of His Holiness, Pope Pius XI, who passed away in his sleep after having been in declining health for the past several years. The Holy Father will soon be interned with the rest of his predecessors in the tomb of the popes. Until the next pope can be chosen, the Italian Federation will be ruled by the College of Cardinals in Rome. The succession of His Holiness is made all the more important due to the Catholic Church role in governing the nation, as well as its vehement opposition to syndicalism, a force which has divided Italy and created the southern breakaway republic. How terrible. The Indian Citizenship Act of 1936. In order to gain more sympathy from the North and the West, it has been proposed by the Senate and the House that an Indian Citizen Act be passed, effectively elevating all indigenous people of the United States from second class to full citizenship. Yeah! Increases stability. We're almost back to normal. Clique declare war on Mongolia. Okay, so I go down here for the research slot. That's good. Fight for America? Which one's that? Oh, the U.S. Army. So I want mobile plan, firepower plan, or grand strategy. I'll keep thinking about that. I'm not sure. Which one do I want? Disperse, why not? It's what I normally do. When is the 1936 election, anyway? Two immigrants from Italy, Sacco and Vazzetti, have been accused of killing a guard and paymaster of the local bank in Braintree, Massachusetts, a town outside of Boston. The case has quickly become a trial of the century, for Sacco and Vazzetti are anarchists. Unsurprisingly, the CSA has come out strongly in favor of the two men, while the American First have come out against them. However the case goes, it will anger plenty of people. This one, I think. Yeah, I want Authorian Democrat. Alright, you know what? I'm gonna stop it here and continue a little bit later. So until then, it was great playing with you guys, and hope to see you next time.